If I could just go viral on social media, that would be the game changer my business needed, where I would increase all of these leads, I'd get all of these sales. But I'm here to tell you, I did go viral on YouTube, and I have 5 surprising things I want to share with you today. So thing number 1, or lesson number 1 that I learned, is that your virality is only helpful if you are speaking to the correct audience. Now, I didn't necessarily learn this specific lesson from going viral, but I actually learned that you not only need to be speaking to the right audience, but you could be speaking to the right audience and it still doesn't make that much of a difference. That was a huge surprise to me. So let me explain this a little bit more. Once upon a time, I was a little bit obsessed with specifically going viral on TikTok because I had a dear friend who also had an online business, and she had a TikTok video go viral and she received something crazy like 30,000 email subscribers. I mean, she really exploded and I was so happy for her, and I told her, you really inspired me. I'm gonna put my head down on TikTok. I'm gonna use this as a game changer for my business. And it definitely has been helpful to my business, do not get me wrong. But I was really focused on going viral for a while, and I did a little bit of everything. I tried Pinterest content, I tried trends, I tried funny things, I tried dances. Not all of it served my audience, but I just wanted to get more eyes on my business. But that's not helpful if you're not speaking to the right audience. So I really started to focus on just serving my 2 unique audiences. So I do sort of have a split audience where one side of my audience, they're business owners and they're coming to me because they want to learn how to market their business on Pinterest. So they could be going the DIY route, or they could even have an assistant learn from me and implement the strategies I teach in regards to Pinterest to their business. And then the other audience I'm serving are people who are interested in starting their Pinterest management business. So they might not have any business experience and they're really starting from scratch. And maybe they're inspired by my journey, where I was a former teacher and now I'm a thriving online business owner and I work from home. So I do have these 2 unique audiences, but when I was really just focused on going viral, I was trying a little bit of everything because I thought that even if a piece of content went viral that wasn't necessarily for my specific audiences, that it would just build my presence on that platform and eventually the right content would go viral. But it doesn't always work like that, right? So I did start to just focus on serving the best Pinterest content I could. And I really focused on offering the solutions I know that my 2 audience needs. So that's what I really focused on. And that felt right to me. And it was kind of a huge relief, honestly, to stop focusing so much on that virality and just focus on serving really great, highly educational content. So when I did go viral on YouTube, which was interesting because YouTube is actually where I have my smallest following, or my least amount of subscribers, if you want to say it that way. It's also the platform that I've been on the shortest amount of time. It will be 2 years this coming November, so November 2024, that I've been on YouTube. So it's been about 1.5 years that I've been very consistent with my YouTube strategy. And once I started on YouTube, I had absolutely 0 expectations. I was laser focused on just creating the best content I could. And so as of the past few weeks, when I did have, it wasn't one of my regular YouTube episodes, but it was actually a YouTube short. So very short piece of content. I want to say it was maybe 5 to 10 seconds. It was for one of my audiences that I serve. It was specifically for people who are interested in starting their Pinterest management business and working from home. So in this YouTube short, to kind of summarize it, I'm sharing why I quit my teaching job and decided to start my freelance business. So perfect content for that one side of my audience, those who are looking to work from home. But it's so interesting. It was for, quote, the right audience, and it definitely has increased my number of YouTube subscribers, but not exponentially by any means. And I wouldn't say that my husband asked me, he was like, so what changes have you noticed in your business since it went viral? And I couldn't really say anything. So I don't know what that says about my business, but everything as far as, you know, having different free offers and trainings. I do have different courses for Pinterest. You know, I have things in place, but it wasn't the game changer I thought it would be. So I could have been obsessing this entire time, and I could have been super let down by the fact that, yeah, I got more subscribers and that's helpful. And I'm so happy that, I'm potentially helping more people, but it wasn't like I started making all this money. So I just want to say, I am so glad that I reduced my expectations to 0, because it's not been a big deal. And I think that I just know if I'm doing the best that I can to give free, educational, valuable content that is honest and helpful, that's all that I can do. So that was number 1. Now we are moving on to lesson number 2. You are not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And if you have not gone viral, then it's like you're encapsulated into this bubble of people who probably are fans of yours, who regularly engage with your content. When you go viral, you're expanding that so much. I mean, I want to say that I maybe had a reel. It did have a lot of views. I want to say it maybe had 700,000 on Instagram. And actually, it didn't really receive a ton of negative feedback. But on YouTube, this YouTube short had 1.7 million views, hundreds of comments, and they were all over the map. I would say there definitely were some kind comments where people could relate to me being a teacher and feeling torn about quitting and then ultimately being at home. There was also a lot of people who just said some really surprising things, and a lot of people who misunderstood what I do. And I think that part was really hard for me to honestly stomach, in a way, to feel misunderstood. Nobody wants to feel misunderstood. And it has been one of my core values to always be honest and transparent about what I do and how I can help you. And for people to say that what I'm doing is this scam or a pyramid scheme or even an MLM, not that there's anything wrong with MLMs, but that's just not what I do. So for those of you that don't know, MLM is multi-level marketing. That's not what I do. As an MLM, you are actually selling a physical product or a product to the public. That's not what I'm teaching people at all for either of my audiences. So it felt really weird to feel misunderstood, and it didn't sit well with me. But I had to just come to the conclusion that it's anything in life. There are people who are not going to like you. There are people who are not going to agree with you. And at some point, you have to agree to disagree, because there are a lot of people out there who are watching how I react, how I comment back, how I treat other people, and it's not worth it to get upset or worked up about, because you could explain yourself, and I could explain that what I do is I worked as a freelancer, I was a contractor, I offered a service that business owners need. So Pinterest management is similar to website design, copywriting, social media management, podcast management, virtual assisting. That's what I did for 5+ years. And now I feel definitely qualified to do this because I'm a former teacher. Now I'm teaching other people the skills they need so that they can also become a Pinterest manager and offer that service. They're not selling any products. They are not getting other people to buy my courses or join my Pinterest Manager Academy. They're literally being trained, educated, and coached how to become a Pinterest manager so that they can start their service-based business. So for that to be misunderstood, it was a little hard for me to stomach because I want people to understand, but some people just won't, and that's okay. It's one of those things where you have to agree to disagree and move on with life. And that actually brings me to lesson number 3. If something is not serving you and it is creating this negative energy, it's okay to maybe go against what you've been told. So with social media marketing, what I mean is that I have always been told and taught to comment back on every post, engage with all of the people that are commenting this and that. And when you have something go viral, because you are broadening that audience so much, you are getting way outside the sphere of people who you typically serve. And with that, kind of similar to lesson number 2, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And so when I was getting all of these negative comments, and when I say negative, I just mean that what I do, how I help people, my business model, it was really misunderstood. I kind of just had to bless and release that, because if they were to go to my website or my YouTube channel, they would learn really quickly that what I do is very honest work and I can help people. And I have dozens and now hundreds of people I'm helping either with marketing their business on Pinterest or becoming a Pinterest manager. And for some of my students, I have a lot of women that enroll my Pinterest Manager Academy, is literally changing their life to start a service-based business because maybe they're quitting their teaching job. They're walking away from a career that they are totally burnt out on that doesn't bring them happiness in their life. So for somebody to start a new career and have the skills and the training so that they can offer this service, that's life-changing for people. So I really had to come to terms with, if there are people who are leaving these negative comments, it's okay for me to protect my energy and not comment back, and just know that my content will reach people who don't agree with me, and hopefully it'll also reach the right people. And if I help just one person, it is worth all of the negativity that also comes with reaching a lot of people. And it's okay to either hide a comment or not respond back and not use your energy in a way that's not useful and really healthy, because it would make me feel upset. And maybe that's just me not having thick enough skin, but I've never gone viral before, and so it was a little surprising. So that was lesson number 3. Lesson number 4 that I learned is there are a lot of people out there who think that one salary is enough to live on in today's day and age. And this was so surprising to me because my husband, he's in sales and he does well. But we have 3 kids. My daughter does dance. Actually, 2 of my daughters do dance, the ones that are old enough. It is a very expensive sport. And, you know, we don't live a lavish life, but we do like to take vacations. And I understand to take vacations, that is a luxury for a lot of people. And I don't want to take that for granted. We're very blessed, but we also work very hard. And we also have 2 good incomes. So it was so surprising to me how many people were asking, where's your husband? Why can't you live on one income? And I just found that crazy. So I just want to say, if you are in a place where it's not enough for you to survive off of one income, you're not abnormal. That's not crazy. Life is so expensive. Let me just say, I just order groceries, and every week I look back through things that I could like remove or save on, and I'm like, how are groceries that much? And so I don't think this is surprising news. Everything has gotten more expensive in life. And the crazy part is too, with me working from home, this is one of the main reasons why I started working from home, was so that I could be at home with my kids. I don't even have childcare. I do occasionally have a babysitter because I have to go to appointments and I have to do things sometimes without children involved. So I will occasionally have a babysitter, or sometimes I just need to get a block of work done. So I'll have a babysitter for 3 hours so that I can sit and do focused work during normal hours, not super early in the morning or super late at night, and get some work done. And it is so expensive to have a babysitter. So this lesson that I learned, there's a lot of people out there that are going to tell you that one income is enough to live off of, and you're doing something wrong if you can't live off of one income. And I just want to say, if you are feeling that you're at home and maybe your husband works, or vice versa, maybe you're female and you work full-time and your husband stays at home, whatever your living situation is, that's okay. If you feel that you can't just live off of one income, there are other options. You don't have to live that way. And for me, could we have made it work off of one income? Maybe, but things would have had to have changed drastically for our family. And there were certain things I didn't want to give up in life, to be totally honest, and maybe that makes me selfish. I didn't want to give up family vacations. I didn't want to give up going out to eat. I didn't want to have to give up doing fun things like going to concerts, which everything is expensive, right? So there were certain things that make life enjoyable. So it's not that we have these super expensive cars or we're using our money frivolously, but life is just expensive. And we also wanted to have multiple kids, and kids are expensive. So I learned that a lot of people think that one, if you're female, you shouldn't have to work, and that your husband should be the sole provider. And if that's what your life looks like and that works for you, I love that for you. But if it's not comfortable financially and you want to have a way to work from home, there are other options. So for those of you who understand how I help people and you are interested in becoming a Pinterest manager, I have a free guide and also a free training if you're more into videos and learning that way. And I would love to share more about that. And you will find links to my free guide and my free training linked in this video as well. So I just wanted to mention that. So that was super surprising because I think that, I don't know, I just thought that that was normal that people needed two incomes for their family. And it was so surprising to me, the comments about where's your husband and why, you know, is he not doing anything? And I'm like, yeah, he is. He's a really great provider actually, but we still need another income. So that was lesson number 4 that I learned. And I just want to say, if you need another source of income, there is nothing wrong with you or your family. It's normal that you might need 2 incomes. So that was lesson number 4. Lesson number 5 that I learned was that people are going to have a lot of different thoughts about what you do or don't do for your career. So I shared this before, but I am a former teacher. And it was so interesting with this viral YouTube short, how there were a lot of teachers who could relate to my story and knew exactly where I was coming from. There were actually people who thought I was lying about my income. And that is the sassy side in me where I'm like, do you want receipts? Do you want me to show you previous pay stubs? Why would I lie about that? And I just think that it's super shocking how little teachers make. Now it does vary state to state, and I totally understand that there are teachers who do much better depending on where they live. I am in Indiana, and when I was teaching, each paycheck, I received 2 paychecks a month, and I believe it was on the 5th and the 20th, and those paychecks were literally $918. Not very much. And that was, I did have benefits. That was after insurance and taxes. And of course, having benefits is huge, but that's not a lot to live on. And one of the reasons why I quit my teaching job was because it didn't make sense for me to go back to teaching with the cost of childcare. Now, I would have been making a little bit, but I was actually even gonna go back part-time. So I would have been making maybe either breaking even or maybe making 100 to 200, maybe some grocery money. And that just didn't make sense because not only would I barely be contributing anything financially to our family, but I would be losing that time with our daughter. So it just didn't make sense. And the comments, people, like I said, people didn't believe me about how much I actually made as a teacher. But then a lot of people saying, well, you made this decision and you get 3 months off. And it's one of those things where unless you walk a mile in somebody's shoes, you know, you just don't understand. And there is so much burnout with teaching. And also people can change their minds. What I decided when I was 19, when I decided to get my degree in elementary education, I graduated from Purdue University. I loved teaching. Don't get me wrong. I loved it, but I never went into it thinking that I was going to financially, you know, be bringing in all of this money, right? That's not why you become a teacher. You do it for the intrinsic reasons where you love kids, you love helping them, and you are trying to make a positive impact on their life. But once you're in it and you're experiencing the burnout, maybe you don't have the administrative support, you have kids throwing desks in your classroom. There's a lot of different things that come into play here that you can't know until you're actually in the career. I think that it's so important to just be kind and give people grace. And if you are in that position where people are telling you that you should just put up with it because you get the summers off or this and that, we have to put that aside because things change. And what you decided when you're 19, 18, 20, whatever, and you know, the experiences you've had thus far in life, we change and we evolve, and that's okay. Not everybody will understand that, but if you're ready to transition out of that career and you don't want to make it work anymore and you're experiencing burnout, I just want to say that's okay. That life is too short to do something that's no longer serving you. And there are so many amazing teachers out there where that is their passion and we need them and they're staying in that career, and that's important too. But on the flip side, it wasn't serving me anymore. I wanted to be at home with my daughter. I wanted to be the one who raised her. And at one point I thought I might actually go back to teaching, and I have to be honest, I can never see myself going back, and that's okay. I loved my time in the classroom and I don't regret any choice I made. I am really a believer in all things work together for the good, and that every choice we make ultimately leads us to where we need to be. And so if you are feeling that pull where you are ready to transition, you want to learn more about becoming a Pinterest manager, this is resonating with you, I want to invite you to watch the next episode where I'm going to teach you what a day in the life looks like for me as a Pinterest manager. I also would love for you to subscribe to this channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. I promise that all opinions are respected and that I value your feedback. So I can't wait to see you soon in next week's episode. Bye for now.